Hello, today we're going to talk about trade discounts, both a single discount and a chain discount. Okay, so here's a few different things in terminology and about invoices. So if you take a look at this invoice, you can see that we have this list price. Let me get my highlighter here. So, right, we have a list price, and list price is just the retail price, right? The retail price that someone would be charged initially before any discounts or anything. And then also notice that we have a trade discount. Trade discount amount is the amount of the discount that retailers receive off the list price. And so here it says we're going to take a 25% discount, and that comes to $2,887.50. So that's a pretty nice discount. And then the trade discount rate is the percent, which is also listed. So we have the percent, which is 25%. And then we have the amount of the $2,887.50. So those are just some things to look at whenever you're looking at an invoice. And so here we have that same invoice, and here's how you can find the discount amount, the trade discount amount. Now, a trade discount is a discount. And so if we're finding a discount, we would do the same thing as we are with this trade discount. It just happens to be a trade discount because it's given to a company that is buying from another company, basically. The net price is basically just going to be your list price minus the discount, the trade discount amount. And so you can see those things here, right? We can take the discount, we can find the discount by multiplying. Oh, I still have that on. By multiplying by the discount rate, right? That gives us the amount. And then we subtract it from the list price to get the net price, right? So list price is always going to be higher. Net price is going to be the smaller amount. Okay, so here's some other things. And it's funny that the definitions are in this section of the book, but we don't really use them much on this particular section. It's section 11 too, but they kind of put things together in the chapter, even though we split them somewhat as far as teaching goes. So freight terms. We're going to have two different kinds of freight. Determine how freight will be paid. Okay, so sometimes it's paid at what they call the shipping point, sometimes at the destination. And so FOB shipping point, the buyer pays the cost of the freight and getting goods to their location. And FOB destination, seller pays cost of freight and getting goods to the buyer's location. Now, we just do a little bit with the freight. Basically, it's one of those things where we've got this freight amount. We're not going to take any trade discounts on it, and so we just have to make sure that we add it in where we need to, or if we subtract it sometimes before finding a discount. And so it'll be mentioned in different kinds of problems that we do. Okay, so now we're going to talk about a single trade discount, meaning there's one discount taken, and we're going to do some calculating with this. So it's asking us, it's saying the list price of a smartphone is $399. A local Verizon dealer receives a trade discount of 20%. So in other words, they're buying from a vendor of some sort, and they're going to get a discount of 20%. Find the trade discount amount and the net price. Now, you've got to just be careful when you're reading that you don't get things mixed up, okay? The trade discount amount is a dollar amount. The net price is a dollar amount, but we need this percentage in order to do the calculations, right? And so the trade discount is 20%, the discount percent, the rate of the discount. To find the trade discount amount, right, this part, we would simply take the cost of the phone and multiply it by 20% in decimal form. And then that gives us $79.80. Okay, so that's the trade discount amount. And then if we're finding the net price, right, we would simply take the $399 and subtract the discount amount, the trade discount amount. and we end up with a net price of $319.20. So read your terminology carefully and just think about what it's asking. If it's asking for a rate, we're going to talk about percent. If it's asking for an amount, it's going to be a dollar amount. Okay, so once again, we're on the single trade discount, but we're going to look at this in a different way. Okay, so it's the same question as the previous slide, except I added this part. Find the net price of the smartphone using the complement. The complement is the difference between the discount rate and 100%. Now, back in chapter 3, when we were working with percents, we did have to find some complements when needed to work with our percent formula, portion, base, and rate. Remember that. And so I think you've already had some exposure to this. But in this case, we are going to take a little shortcut. So to find your complement is super simple. I'm going to write this out because I want you to be sure and think about this. To find the complement, we take 100% and we subtract our rate, right? Our trade discount rate is 20%, so the complement is 80%, and it's telling you that on step 1. And then multiply the list price times that complement, and we go right to the net price. That's what's really cool about this. So net price is going to be the $3.99 times the complement. So if I'm taking off 20%, I'm paying 80% of that price. And so I think that should make some sense when you think about it that way. And we're left with then $319.20. And remember, that was the very same answer we got on the last slide, but we did it in a little bit different process. Now, the cool thing about complements is a lot of times you can just subtract that in your head and you know what that next one's going to be. And it's just a one calculation thing. And personally, I use complements anywhere I can because I feel like it's a faster process. Okay, and then here's a way to find list price. Now, this kind of goes back, kind of like in some of the stuff we did do in chapter 3. It's saying to find the list price, we take the net price and we divide it by the complement of the trade discount rate. And so by doing that division, I could show you this in an algebra equation, you know how that works, but I know that you would prefer me not to do that. So this time, let's see. We have a local Barnes & Noble paid $79.99 net price for a calculus textbook. The publisher offered a 20% trade discount. What was the publisher's list price? So this is the net price, right? That didn't turn out so good. And then we have this 20% trade discount. So to find the list price, we're going to take the net price, $79.99. We're going to divide it by the complement of 20%, right? So 100% minus 20. We just did this on the previous question, is 80%. So we already knew that. We do divide it in decimal form. I'm going to write it out on this step this way. And then to actually find the answer, we're going to take $79.99 and divide it by 0.8. So we go ahead and change that to the decimal form to do the calculation, right? And then round to dollars and cents. It comes out like this on your calculator in rounded form. $99.99, and that is the list price. So we kind of went backward with that. We knew the net price and we want to find the list price. So list price or net price divided by complement, and there you have it. Okay, so chain discounts, also called a series discount. In the former book we used, it called it a series, but it is the same thing. Notice I have an example here where we're using a chain discount one at a time. there's a quicker way to do this. So you take the amount $15,000 times the first, right? That's 20%. And as a decimal form, and then you subtract the amount of the discount to get $12,000, and you take it times the next percent, so that's a 15%, right? So this is a 20, 15, 10 discount, and that 20, 15, 10 means 20%, then 15%, then 10%, but we can't add those together. We have to take them in a separate way. So, and you'll see why, because we added them together, we would be applying, what would that be, 45% to 15,000, but that's not how it works. Notice we apply the 20%, subtract that amount, then we apply the 15%, we have another amount to subtract, and then we apply the 10%, and then we end up with our net price. So that is how that has to work, but there is a quicker way to do this, and I'm going to show you that. Or at least I would say this is a way I like better. So you take your chain discount. In this case, we're talking about $15,000 like that example that I just showed you, and the chain discount is a 20, 15, 10. And we're going to subtract each one of those from 100, write them in decimal form, and then multiply them, right? So that's going to give me 80%, 85%, and 90%. Be real careful here so you don't accidentally be, the most common thing is that we'll be off by 10. Even I've done that before. Whenever we write these out, and then you look back and go, oh no, that's not what that was supposed to be. Well, when we multiply these, right, so we change them to a decimal, right, convert to decimal because it is equivalent to that original percent. We convert those to a decimal, and then we multiply, and we get this number. And so that is the amount, that percent, or that decimal, that's really 61.2%. That is called the net price equivalent rate. Because that will give us our net price. All we have to do is take the amount of the list price, the 15,000, and we multiply it by this decimal, and we found this with that chain discount, the 20%, 15%, 10%. This is equivalent to that, and so that gives us net price, and the net price then is $9,180, which is the same price we got going about this the long way on the previous slide, and so it's kind of cool how that works. Okay, and then we're going to talk then about the single equivalent discount rate, which is related to this. I don't know that I can get this done in 2 minutes, which is all I have, so I'm going to write out a little bit. I'm going to pause for a moment, write out a couple of things, and I'll come back and we'll talk about it. Okay, so I wrote out these long amounts. Now we're going to talk about the single equivalent discount rate, which is the complement of the net price equivalent rate. Okay, so we have that from the previous slide, that 0.612, and we simply subtract to get the single equivalent discount rate. So the amount of the discount is 38.8%. Remember, I told you we can't add those together and get 45% because that would not work right. And so now this is saying find the trade discount amount. Well, we could just subtract 15,000 minus the 9,180, but we're going to use this to calculate that real quick. I'm going to pause and write this out. I just wanted to end the video with this problem because it all went with the other ones. So just a moment, and then I'll write it out and get it back on. All right, so to find the trade discount amount, we take 15,000 times 0.388. We get 5,820. We could also just subtract 15,000 minus the 9,180 that we found on that previous slide, and that's the trade discount amount, right? Because this is the list price, that's the net price, the difference is the discount amount. All right, so I'm going to stop the video here and start up on the next one for the rest of this lesson.